world has convinced us that silence is wasted time, that boredom is a void to be filled with endless streams of information, entertainment, and noise. We are told to hustle, to connect, to consume. Yet by escaping boredom, we escape ourselves. The relentless hum of modern life has become a shield, a buffer between us and the quiet, unnerving truth of our own minds. But what if that quiet is not an enemy? What if the very thing we are running from holds the key to everything we are searching for? What truths have you been avoiding by keeping the volume turned up? Who would you discover if you just sat still? This frantic need for distraction isn't a sign of a full life. It's the symptom of a restless mind, terrified of what it might hear if it ever stopped to listen. We will not just talk about how to enjoy the silence. We will uncover why your brain is biologically wired to crave it and why society has conditioned you to fear it. To understand the profound power of quiet, we have to look inside the human brain. For decades, we believed the brain simply powered down when we weren't focused on a task. We were wrong. Neuroscientists discovered a fascinating and critical network that activates precisely when we are doing nothing at all. They call it the default mode network, or the DMN. Think of it as your brain's secret chamber of self-reflection, imagination, and future planning. When you're scrolling through your phone, answering emails, or listening to a podcast, the DMN is quiet. Your brain is focused on external input, but the moment you stop, the moment you allow your mind to wander, the DMN lights up. This is not idle time. It is essential mental processing. This is the biological reality behind mind-wandering meditation and the forgotten art of daydreaming. When you stare out a window, lost in thought, your brain is not off. It's working in a different, more profound way. It's consolidating memories, connecting seemingly unrelated ideas to create novel solutions, and simulating future scenarios to help you make better decisions. It is the engine of creativity and the seat of your identity. It's where you construct the narrative of your life, who you were, who you are, and who you want to become. Now, consider the consequences of our modern, hyper-stimulated world. Constant notifications, endless feeds, and the pressure to always be on actively suppress this vital network. We are systematically robbing ourselves of the very brain function that fosters deep insight and personal growth. We're so busy consuming information that we never give our minds the space to process it, to turn information into wisdom. This constant state of overstimulation is why you might feel creatively blocked, disconnected from your own goals, or unable to solve a persistent problem. The answer isn't out there in another article or video. It's inside, waiting in the quiet for the default mode network to come online. Imagine the ideas you've been missing because you never pause. Imagine the self-understanding you've sacrificed for one more scroll. This isn't just about feeling less stressed. It's about accessing a superior mode of thinking that our noisy world has locked away. The practice of silence introspection isn't a luxury. It's a cognitive necessity. This leads us to a deeply personal question, one that might feel uncomfortable. What have you silenced by filling every quiet moment with noise? Which parts of yourself never get to speak because the moment you're alone in your car, you turn on the radio? The moment you're waiting in line, you pull out your phone. The truth is, we don't just run from boredom, we run from the thoughts that boredom allows to surface. We run from the unresolved anxieties, the quiet regrets, the difficult questions about our career, our relationships, our purpose. The noise is a convenient anesthetic. It keeps the deeper currents of our lives from reaching the surface. This creates a powerful inner dilemma. On one hand, we crave authenticity and self-awareness. We want to live meaningful, deliberate lives. But on the other hand, the process of achieving that, the process of true control self-reflection, requires us to face the very thoughts we've been using distraction to avoid. It's a paradox. To gain control, we must first surrender to the discomfort of unstructured quiet. The restless mind fears this surrender. It mistakes stillness for stagnation and silence for emptiness. But what if that emptiness is actually a canvas? The space where you can finally hear your own intuition, untangled from the opinions of others and the demands of the world. What if the voice you've been drowning out with podcasts and playlists is the only one that truly knows the way forward? This tension is where real growth happens. It's in the decision to put the phone down, to endure the initial wave of anxiety, and to simply sit with yourself for 5 minutes. It's about letting the churning waters of your mind settle so you can finally see what lies at the bottom. So why is this simple act so incredibly difficult? The fear of silence is not a personal failing. It is a deeply ingrained collective conditioning. It starts in childhood, We are taught that being still is being unproductive. A quiet child in a classroom is either brilliant or troubled. A child with nothing to do is encouraged to find a hobby, play a game, do something. Rest was often punished, while activity was rewarded. Silence became equated with laziness or non-participation. This programming continues into adulthood, amplified by a culture that glorifies productivity. Our value is measured by our output, our busyness, our filled calendars. We wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. In this environment, choosing to do nothing, to simply be silent, feels like an act of rebellion. It feels wasteful, even indulgent. Our brains, being masterful pattern recognition machines, learn to associate silence with a threat, the threat of falling behind, of being unproductive, of being worthless. So, we develop an automatic, almost unconscious reflex to fill the void. This constant overstimulation becomes our baseline. Quiet then feels jarring, abnormal, and empty. But the truth is the opposite. That perceived emptiness is actually potential. It is the birthplace of clarity, visions, and creation. We have been conditioned to see a blank page as a problem, when in reality, it is an invitation. We have been taught to fear the pause between the notes, when that is precisely where the music happens. This deep-seated fear is the primary reason we choose distraction over depth, noise over nuance. We are not just avoiding boredom, we are obeying a lifetime of conditioning that tells us our worth is in our doing, not in our being. To embrace boredom is to unlearn this lie. Breaking free from this cycle of distraction isn't about moving to a monastery or abandoning modern life. It's about a strategic internal shift broken into 3 parts: awareness, confrontation, and recalibration. First is awareness. This is where you consciously change your definition of silence. Stop seeing it as an absence of sound and start seeing it as the presence of opportunity. Quiet moments aren't wasted. They're essential for mental processing. When you have 5 unscheduled minutes, your old habits scream to fill it. Awareness says, no, this is my time to defragment, my brain's chance to connect the dots. Like sleep, essential for restoration, silence is necessary for your mind and higher order thinking. Second is confrontation. This is putting awareness into practice. Sit with discomfort, drive home without the radio, or wait for coffee without your phone. You'll feel restlessness, anxiety, the urge to act. Don't run. Confront it. The discomfort is temporary, a withdrawal from stimulation. Sit through it, and the noise settles. In that space, quieter, deeper, more insightful thoughts emerge. Embrace boredom long enough to hear what it has to say. Finally, recalibration. Take insights gained in silence and realign your life. Clarity isn't just intellectual, it's a compass. Perhaps you see a draining job, an unfulfilling relationship, or a neglected passion. Recalibration turns introspection into deliberate action. You stop reacting to notifications and start living guided by internal wisdom finally allowed to speak. This 3-part process, awareness, confrontation, recalibration, reclaims your mind and lets you enjoy silence, not as escape, but as a tool for an intentional life. We began with a paradox. We run from the very thing that gives clarity. We fear being alone with our thoughts, so we build a world to avoid it. But the noise doesn't answer questions, it postpones them. Endless content doesn't fulfill, it empties. Silence isn't empty. It holds the voice you've been avoiding, the answers you've sought, the person you were meant to be. The final paradox: the more you fear boredom, the more you need it. Your fear is a compass pointing to your unfiltered mind, your capacity for daydreaming, and your path to superior thought. Try one silent moment today, just one. Don't meditate or solve a problem. Just be, and see what you discover.